Hello, welcome back to another video. I was saying in my last video how I got started late today. It's Friday the 6th of February and it is currently 3:32 or something like that. Stopped by to check my mail, and library closes in an hour and a half, so I didn't. By the time I get my laptop and everything set up, I might get, one or two videos edited, but I want to get it. It'd be hard to get stuff done, edited and uploaded and stuff. And I can use a little break right now anyway. That's why I got a slow start today, because I've been feeling kind of mopey. Good news. My $50 BP gas card came from my bank points. So that's nice. So now I got a $50 in gas. Well, it's a gift card, so I guess I could get something else there, but I'll use it all for gas. So that's a good thing. And I still got enough points left. I can get one more $50 card. So I'm thinking probably not today, because it's near the end of the day and stuff. I'm still feeling blah. So by Monday or something, I'll call, because since I don't have since I lost my checking account, I have I'm locked out of internet banking. I got a savings account with $10 in it, and that keeps it open. I can't spend that $10, or I can't have a savings account. So, but I got my Visa debit card that we got activated. So, and I had switched my direct deposit from unemployment to that, hoping that would go through, which I got denied the unemployment, so that don't matter. But if I get going to work, if I get hired or something, well, at least I still got my savings account that I can have direct deposit go to, and then I can use the card for withdrawing from a cash machine. I can't use it at a pump or like a credit card or check or anything. I can't do that. But I can get cash out of the cash machine with it, so that'll be nice. But once I get some cash, or get money. So it's not all terribly tough. It's tougher than it should be, especially since I had that account for almost 40 years, and there was a miscommunication in where I lost it. Yes, I was in the hole by $55. But I was calling them on a regular basis, and I was told I had till the 15th. I've went over this before in my other videos, but I'm going to go over it again. I was told I had till the 15th of January to take care of it. So I wasn't in jeopardy of losing my account until the 15th. Well, when I called on the 2nd to get my card, because I was having a hard time getting the card activated. Well, the reason I was having a hard time getting the card activated is because they had already gotten rid of my account, my checking account. And when I called them, they told me, well, that's what the problem was. And then I told them I was told that I had till the 15th. And they apologized to me, said, that they're sorry, but there's nothing they could do about it. It was a done deal. There's no getting it back. So that account number that I've had for almost 40 years is the done deal. So even if once I pay off my $55, then I won't get that same account number back. I'll have to start a whole new checking account. But at least I still got my check or my savings account with them, so that it's better than nothing. I always try to look for the positive in things and try my best. Sometimes it's hard, boy. Sometimes it's hard when life is just a whooping you. Lord, I'm sick of the whooping. I don't want no more whooping. I want it to be whoopee. It's gonna get better though. I know it will. Good thing I'm still breathing. Lord woke me up again today. I have had days where I don't know if I was real happy about waking up to another day, just because how tough life can get sometimes. But I am. I'm happy. I'm glad I'm alive. And there's still so many more things I want to do, and so. I don't ever mean to sound conceited or fat-headed. I'll do it to be joking, but that's not who I am in my soul, But I know without a doubt throughout my whole life, I have affected thousands of people in a positive way, you know. And there's no joke about that. That's a real deal. And you can even look in my eyes. I'm telling you, it's the real deal. I ain't playing. And I'm happy that I have been a good influence on this planet, you know. And while I was in my younger years, you know, I've gotten some situations where I probably didn't make the best decisions. You know, I was younger and I gotten some scrappers in my life, you know. And now that I'm older and been through, you know, martial arts and training and all this other stuff, I handle things totally different, you know. Like by the time I started running the nightclub, I already had a wonderful gift to where all the years that I ran the nightclub, I was able to talk 99.9% of the people out of the bar that were being stupid or, you know, drank too much or whatever. You know, I got a gift of reading people. And just by the words they're choosing and their little body language signals and stuff. And I just watched a video today that went all over analytical people, and it's a psychology video, and it was really very interesting. And as I'm watching it, because it says these type of analytical people that like will analyze conversations and remember conversations word for word and keep replaying them, and then not only do you remember every word of the conversation, you think about while they were talking, the body language and the little different idiosyncrasies, stuff they did, you know, trying to, and when you do that, you start learning people, and you learn people in body language so in such a different way. I don't know how to explain it. And then you start being able to have predictability in so many situations and see how things are going to go. Well, what I found out about it, what I'm learning about it, or that kind of opened my mind up more. I had all the 7 different signs of it, and what got me thinking was they're saying that people that have these skills, normally it comes from traumatic childhood or tougher situations as a child, and it was a protective instinct is why you become analytical and start noticing like body language tips and that, you know. And it started making me think about stuff. And I don't remember my childhood being so traumatic. My mom and my dad got divorced when I was 4 years old. And I know it's because my dad was an alcoholic and he could be mean when he was drinking. So some of that I might have learned that I blocked out from when I was 4 years and younger. But I have memories from when I was younger. I remember when I was in my crib. I got memories from that. And I got memories from when I first started learning how to walk. I got little memories that I can remember, you know. And people are shocked that I can remember that stuff. Even when my mom was still alive, the house we lived in when I was just a little baby, we moved out of that house by the time I was like 1 or 2, I think. And I was telling my mom the memories I had from that house. I had a bunch of different memories from it. And her and my brother were like, how you're too little, how you couldn't remember that. And I started telling them. I took a piece of paper and I drew a whole blueprint of the house and how it was laid out, and the little den pass-through room that went from the living room. There's a door here and a door on the other side that you'd come out, but where the kitchen came in, where there was another side door here where you entered in the side of the house, and then there was the front door out here by the living room. But anyway, and then my mom's bedroom was there, me and my brother's bedroom was here, and then there was a bathroom in the hallway here. But I sketched out the whole blueprint of the house and started doing details and stuff, and they were just in awe like, how can you even remember that? You're so little. Because at first they were thinking I was just going off of stories that I heard from other people from when, you know, like my older uncles and cousins talking about times when we lived there and I was little. So they thought it was, at first when I said I remembered it, they're like, no, you're just remembering from what somebody else talked about. I said, no, I remember it. And that's when I sketched out the blueprint of the house. And yeah, my mom and my brother were both like, yeah, that's exactly how it was. You know, so, but yeah, I did. But back, I'm getting sidetracked again. So this analytical stuff, so some of it might have came from back then. And it made sense to me while I was watching this psychology video about the body language part of it too, for trauma and protecting yourself. Because in a situation like, if I think back to knowing my dad could get violent when he was drunk. I have like some vague little memories from back then. I remember like him breaking a lamp one time, knocking it off of an end table while he was screaming or something, batting it off or something like that. It's like I knew it was there, but I didn't think about it. I should have brought that one up to my mom when she was still alive and wonder if she'd remember that moment or something. And I don't talk to my brother no more, so I wouldn't ask him because he's not nice. And I'm being nice by saying he's not nice. Because if I were to say it like it is, he would come across sounding probably darker than anybody you've ever met in your life. You know, I'm talking about his soul and how he treats people. But anyway, I'm going to get on that subject. So I started thinking about it, and I can understand it because, you know, as a child, before you might not know how to communicate with words so much, if you're in a hostile environment like that where bad stuff's happening, you're going to learn by body language then, you know, by like, okay, like we'll use my biological dad, for example. I love him, great guy, and he was lost, you know. It doesn't justify some of the things he did in his life, but he wasn't that man that he was when he was young. When I was a baby, you know, he was like in his 20s probably. He was like 20 years old or something. My mom was really young, and both my parents were. And so he was nothing like the man he was by the time he died, you know. So he did some learning through there, but it was still a struggle for him. He didn't even realize that it was his struggle. He was just, you know, life had him surrounded. I realize it because I'm smarter. but I probably am, you know. I mean, not to knock my dad at all, but my mom would really compliment me on how super smart I was. Made her proud, you know. It got to the point, you know, at a certain point in my life where my mom would always come to me to ask me questions for stuff, or have me look at a situation and ask me what I think about it, or people and a situation that was happening. What do you think about that? What's going on there? You know. But it does make sense. Like, if I put myself back to when I was a baby, if that was happening, and I didn't have a vocabulary big enough yet to, other than just cry and be scared, you know, I wasn't, you know, old enough to be like, stop it, Dad, you know, or something like that, you know, if that was the case. So then I would be going off of his body language. So then what I would learn as a child is that when Dad wasn't drinking, or maybe I didn't smell alcohol, and I could tell his mood was different, it was a fun day or something. But then maybe if I smelt alcohol, I might have been more scared because that's when the bad stuff could happen, or because of how his mannerism would be different if he was drinking, even if I didn't smell the alcohol. As a child, you would notice those different mannerisms because that's when bad stuff happens, you know. So watching this video, it started making me be even more analytical. Stop it, get it out of my head. No. So, but it was very, very fascinating video. So I will be watching that video a few more times, just to understand the psychology of it all a little more. Because each thing they said, people like that, you know, that replay conversations for a long time, it ties into your emotions and your thought processes, all kinds of stuff. It was just very interesting. And I guess it's a very low percentage of us. I guess I can label myself in there. I don't like labeling people, but I just labeled me. I need one of those labelers. Stick it right on my analytical man. Dun, dun, dun. Well, if I'm gonna be a superhero, I prefer to I tell people that I'm a superhero, and just like Superman, I have an emblem on my chest, and then I remove my hand, and they see my cross, and most people really like that. They're like, that's pretty cool. I was working at Foundry. One of the guys said, when I did that, he was like, yeah. He says, toughest superhero of all. There ain't nothing more powerful. And all of a sudden I thought about it, because I used to really be like, Superman was my favorite out of the superheroes, because he could fly, and he's got laser vision, X-ray vision, you know, he's strong and all that stuff. And when he said that, I'd never thought about it like that before. And I was like, yeah, if you're a superhero for God, you do have the most powerful leader or whatever, however you want to look at it. I don't call him a leader, but he would be a leader. But you don't understand what I'm saying, I hope. See, I'm all analytical. I want to make sure I'm saying it right. Oh, I'm at here. Oh my God, I've been babbling for quite a while again. Yep. Oh well. Hey, thanks for watching. Click the thumbs up if you would. God bless you. We'll see you on the next one. Double vision.